In Halo Infinite's teaser trailer, we got some very interesting looks at various locations on what is widely accepted as being Zeta Halo. In the opening moments of that teaser, it quite clearly tells us it is a game engine demo, showcasing what this new engine is capable of in regards to rendering the game. From experience, generally speaking at least, these types of showcases, when released by 343 Industries or Bungie, or to be fair, large swathes of other game developers, is not only an opportunity to demonstrate what their engine can do, but also foreshadow certain aspects of their upcoming titles. After all, why develop a game engine that is capable of rendering ultra-realistic water or particle effects or new breakthrough AI, beautiful environments and active lighting, if the game itself isn't going to utilise it? Hey everyone, welcome back to Installation 00. This is Lore and Theory, and today we're leaning on the theory end of the spectrum a little harder. We're going to be looking back at the Infinite teaser and Slipspace engine demo that we got at E3 in 2018, and add yet another speculative video to the mountains of videos that already exist from my fellow Halo lore YouTubers, and theorise on the particulars of one particular scene in the trailer. So first, let's take a look and refresh our memories. Too quick? Okay, I'll slow it down. Now there are literally hundreds of things I could pick out from this video that we could theorise on, but there is one particular scene I am interested in, and it is inspired by a question I was recently pitched in my Discord. Lieutenant Smokeater asked, can the Mjolnir platform with a Spartan swim? Yeah, much to Frank O'Connor's enjoyment, I'm sure we're looking at water in Halo. Don't panic, it's much more interesting than you might think. And also, while we're on the subject, if you haven't, pop down into the description and smash that link to the Discord. Jump in and get engaged. On Discord, you'll find 1,500 other Halo lore addicts who get their fix of lore discussion within the domain. Not only that, but I'm active all the time on there. I try to engage with as many of my epic followers as possible. I run game nights, I frequently jump into the voice chat. You can ask me specific questions you have and I will answer them to the best of my ability. And there are tons of other like-minded individuals to get to know. Discord has become the only other place I frequent as often as I do YouTube, so if you haven't, jump in. Now, back to the question I was asked. I gave a relatively comprehensive answer to this question in the Discord, but today I wanted to expand on it a little bit and theorise on the subject just a little bit more. This was my response, although I have redacted certain sections of it because I want to make them key points later on in the video. I replied, the buoyancy of Mjolnir and its water displacement isn't sufficient to cancel out its weight. so generally speaking, Mjolnir sinks, and despite what the gameplay mechanics suggest, Mjolnir is 100% resistant to water and even capable of deep sea diving with supplementary oxygen supplies due to its pressure seals, hydrostatic gel layer, movement systems and internal atmosphere. It is on record, however, that SPI can be worn while swimming. If you're curious, the particular lore I'm referencing there is found in the opening chapter of Halo Ghosts of Onyx when we meet Tom and Lucy for the first time, two Spartan 3s who end up diving into a sea to avoid an explosion of a Covenant fuel refinery. I won't spoil any more information for you, but it's an awesome read. So, the scene that I have particular interest is this one. You can see what appears to be some kind of sentinel underwater, looking at the wreckage of a warthog. At face value, it's simply a demonstration that the new game engine is capable of rendering realistic water and that underwater objects and effects are accurately represented within the engine. But is there more to it than just demonstrating the water? Well, now it's time to reference some existing lore. The oceanic variant of the Mjolnir Gen 2 platform was manufactured by Hannibal Weapon Systems and tested at WG/Facility 93-00/Kotka. The suit was designed for missions in deep water areas with little or no light. The helmet has a pressure-resistant cross brace on the visor to protect the user from heavy pressure in different situations that require it. The chest has an anterior lock and a posterior lock for modular pressure shrouds. The armour also uses peel casing pauldrons to streamline movement in particle-dense environments. It saw prominent use during the reclamation of Terceira from the United Rebel Front at some point after the Human Covenant War, when a number of Wake Siege specialists in this armour were deployed to take back the hydroelectric platforms distributed across the planet. This armour has also been deployed near artificial gravity wells and conduction-intensive fields, due to it being one of the most resilient armour systems in Gen 2. Due to its cost, the operation of this armour requires a Level 4 Ordnance Commission approval. Now, this variant of Mjolnir Gen 2 debuted in Halo 4 as an unlockable variant, and in Halo 5 the Mako class Gen 2 suit debuted with a similar though not identical purpose. While the lore surrounding most of the armour variants is in place simply as a brief description of the concept behind the variant to give it a justifiable use within the lore, can we extrapolate more from this? Well, going back to my answer to the LT's question, Mjolnir Gen 1 and Gen 2 can be used underwater. The specifications of both platforms allows them to be used underwater. The fact that Chief and your Spartan in multiplayer falls over and dies in water any higher than knee height is simply a gameplay mechanic designed to keep you within the playable area. But the reality is that Mjolnir can be used underwater without drowning the wearer. This was demonstrated in-game when Chief jumped into the lake on Delta Halo to avoid the carrier's glancing beam. He didn't instantly drown and die the second he hit the water. He was unconscious, likely due to the sudden impact against the water's surface, but was otherwise alive and well. His armour's external vents would have automatically closed and his rebreather system would have activated immediately after. Had he not have been grabbed by the Gravemind, he would have continued to sink to the bottom of the lake, and come around shortly thereafter. Then, at least judging by the in-game armour, he would have to walk his way out of the lake. Think of it like this. Air is less dense than water. If Mjolnir is rated for operating in complete vacuum, which we unequivocally know to be the case, then it is almost by nature capable of operating underwater. The water molecules trying to push their way into the suit are physically larger than the air molecules that would be trying to escape the suit in a vacuum. Now, admittedly, making a wearable suit capable of protecting a person from vacuum is actually much easier than creating one to protect them from the crushing pressure of deep sea, but again, its hydrostatic gel layer is capable of attenuating the pressure, and thus ensuring the Spartan's survival. The biggest inhibitor to the Spartan wearing Mjolnir being underwater is air supply. Mjolnir carries its own internal rebreather system, but if the fall to the floor of the body of water and then the walk out of it takes longer than the suit's internal air supply, then the Spartan will asphyxiate before they drown. Now, with that being said, later models and testbed prototypes of the Gen 1 suits and the Gen 2 suits all together have thrusters built into the suits. The thrusters don't use a conventional combustible propellant, instead using a technique called vector drive exhaust, taking the highly energized plasma medium from Mjolnir's fusion reactor and using that as the reaction mass. This means that the thrusters can operate in atmosphere, in vacuum, and even underwater. Truth be told, the more dense the surrounding environment, the more powerful the force that can be generated due to the reaction mass's interaction with the density of the environment. With intelligent use and enough power from the reactor, the thrusters could allow Mjolnir to fly through the water. This would be particularly interesting given the fact that the oceanic variant has what appear to be hydrodynamic fins positioned over the reactor casings, which coincides where the primary thruster nozzles are located. But again, most if not all current Mjolnir platforms are capable of operating underwater, and most of the newer platforms are fitted with these thrusters. This seems to include the Gen 3 suit that we see our big green badass wearing in the Infinite trailer. So where am I going with this? Well, this is time for the theory. What if the feature of the underwater environment in the engine demo isn't just showcasing fantastic and realistic water effects, much to Frankie's exultation? What if it's a quiet nod to the possibility of an underwater mission? I can only theorise on the particulars, but what if part of our journey involves going underwater, fighting back created controlled Sentinels and Prometheans? We could be working our way towards a purposefully concealed underwater facility on Zeta Halo. For what purpose remains to be seen, but I would love to see Chief move through an underwater environment, being able to jump really far due to the buoyancy effects, being able to activate his thrusters and fly through the water for either short periods or even prolonged periods of time. Imagine flying through the water as Chief in Gen 3, seeing a Promethean in the murky water ahead, so you angle down, glide towards it, slamming into it and performing an awesome assassination, pushing off of its lifeless body and immediately resuming your flight through the water. It'd certainly be something that has never happened in Halo before, and would be to Infinite what flying the Saber was to Reach. Hell, if nothing else, maybe it'd finally silence the critique that Spartans die in knee-depth water. The more I think about it, the more I'm pumped to see if something like this is actually in the works. I'd be really interested in a mission in Infinite where Chief goes underwater. With that brief reveal of the Sentinel of some kind looking at the wreckage of the Warthog, 343 Industries may have quietly suggested as such. We're now under a year away from Infinite's release, and we know practically nothing about it, which is not me complaining. The hype, the theories, and the conjecture and the discussions that have been generated amongst the community thus far as a consequence to this lasting silence has been awesome to see and to be involved in. It shows that the Halo community, while often MIA, are still here. We still have a pulse. And we're ready for this next installment, and for Halo to reclaim its place as the world's greatest and most popular gaming franchise. We're ready, 343. We're just waiting for the roll call. Thanks for watching. Stick your comments down below, I look forward to what you have to say. I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons, Sir Tenchi, the silent cartographer, Brian, Sebastian, Red Sea, Darian and Neek, the holders of the mantle, Ty, Black Biscuit, J Rabbit, Austin, Kaiser, Silux, Reclaimer216, The Revanche, Wolf Slim and Andre, my Reclaimers, Zach, Deep Cover, Verbal Statue, Specigo, Spartan A498, Guppy, Josh, Mickey, Bastion, Mulchar, Slithery Tube Dude and Night Rides, my Metarchs, and all the other patrons that have jumped aboard to support the channel. You guys are awesome and all of this wouldn't be possible without you. I'm spending longer and longer reading out all of your names. If you like Halo lore discussed to insane levels of detail, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon so you're told the second a new video hits the shelves. Be sure to support us on all major social media channels including Discord, and if you really love the channel, consider heading over to Patreon and supporting the channel over there. It would mean the world to me and would free up more of my time for me to put into this content and other Halo related goodness. Take it easy everyone, and find peace in the domain.